Hello students, I am Sachin Prakash and I teach and mentor students in chemistry for IIT I believe that the real confidence which is required to crack this IIT exam will come only when you are confident in tackling good problems. And that clarity and understanding of concepts will only develop when you are really comfortable in handling these problems. So this video contains the paper discussion which I have conducted in my uh, classes online. Okay, and a lot of good doubts are there which I have discussed here. It will be helping you people in understanding, developing an understanding in how to approach and tackle good problems. Okay, and if you like this, if you found this paper discussion video to be useful and interesting, you can, like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, which will surely, motivate me to add some more useful videos of this type. Okay, because ultimately it's this is just an effort, honest effort, small honest effort from my side to help the student, uh, help my students as well as other students also in their ITJ preparation. So let us begin with this paper discussion. Okay.
Okay, people. So today we are going to discuss AFT 10. Okay, paper 2. So this is a grand test paper, so it will be a full syllabus paper. So let us start the discussion. Question number 19 and 20. Question number 19 and 20. Any doubts? 19 was a question which was recently asked in your juniors paper also. So if you want any point which you want to discuss, you can see. So point A, B, C, and D. Any doubts? Nineteen is not a doubt. See, in option A, they are saying that if you're diluting a solution, what will happen to the H plus concentration? Now you see, on dilution, the degree of dissociation increases for a weak acid. But the concentration of H plus will always decrease only, because you see, the original acid concentration will be decreasing if you're doing the dilution. Are you getting a point? Yes or no?
Sir, but alpha is increasing, no?
Okay, yeah, let us just take an example. Okay, suppose you are having 0.1 molar acetic acid. What will be the value of alpha? K is 1.8 into 10 power minus 5. So alpha will be what? Under root of K by C. Okay. So it is how much? 1.8 into 10 power minus 5 by 0.1. Okay. So this will be like square root of 1.8 into 10 to the power minus 2. Okay, or this is something like 1.35. Okay, now, and what is concentration of H plus? You see, concentration of H plus is C into alpha. So even if alpha is increasing, on dilution, C is decreasing. Are you getting my point? Yes or no? So you see, if you are converting it into 0.01 molar acetic acid, then what will be the value of alpha? Under root of Ka by C. So 10 to the power minus 3, or is the square root of 18 into 10 to the power minus 2. That is like 4.3 into 10 to the power minus 2. So you see, alpha has increased, but how many times it has increased? 2 times. But if you are writing H plus concentration here, let's C into alpha. What is C? C has decreased like 10 times. In this case, it will be coming out to be like 1.35 into 10 to the power minus 3, minus 2 into 10 to the power minus 1. In this case, it will come out to be 4.3 into 10 to the power minus 2, plus 4.3 into 10 to the power minus 4. You see, the decrease in concentration is more compared to increase in alpha. Are you getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is why H plus concentration will decrease. It depends more on C than on alpha. Okay. Option B. On a heating a sample of pure H plus and OH minus, sample of pure water, H plus and OH minus will increase. Why? Because Kw will increase. Kw is, if Kw is increasing for pure water, concentration of H plus is square root of Kw. Because H plus and OH minus are equal in concentration for pure water. So if Kw is increasing, then H plus will increase. Okay. So pH will what? pH will decrease. Okay. Acha, can you tell me one thing? Okay. Suppose, okay, this is an 90th question. Okay. Suppose I am heating water from Kw I'm heating water. Okay. Now you know that pH is 7 for neutral water. Okay. Now I'm heating water from 25 to 63 degrees centigrade. Okay. So at 63 degrees centigrade, what will be the pH of the water? Is the water becoming alkaline if you are heating it? Sorry, acidic if you are heating it. Means, see, at this temperature, concentration of H plus is 10 power minus 7 or pH is 7. Now pH is becoming 6.5. So, is the water becoming acidic if you are heating it? Yes, no. Huh?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Everyone is agreeing with that? So on heating, a solution of water will become acidic because pH is decreasing. Other people, what are your opinion on this?
Yes.
It should still be neutral, no, sir.
It should still be neutral, right?
Because H plus and OH minus will be equal only, no?
Yes. Now you are correct. Okay. You see, pH is 7 here at T0. The neutral pH is 7 at T0 to 25 degrees centigrade because concentration of H plus and OH minus both will be 10 power minus 7. When you are heating it, okay, you are shifting. See, pH, acidity and basicity is always defined by the neutral point. At neutral point, pH is basically pKW by 2. Okay, at T is equal to 25 degrees centigrade, that neutral pH is 7, and at T is equal to 63 degrees centigrade, that neutral pH will become 6.5. Okay, are you getting a point? So pH is equal to neutral pH is 7 only at 25 degrees centigrade. When you are heating it, the origin is shifting to a higher concentration. Acidity and basicity are defined with respect to the neutral point pH. Okay, at that given temperature. If you are changing the temperature, the neutral point pH will change. Are you getting a point? So now we have to define what is this? Acidity or basicity based on pH is equal to 6.5. So at T is equal to 63 degrees centigrade, pH less than 6.5 will be acidic, and pH greater than 6.5 will be basic. Are you getting a point, everyone? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So pH is equal to 7 is the neutral pH for 25 only, not for other temperatures. Option C, so you can do it. It is simply under root of K into C. For weak acid, for strong acid, it will be complete dissociation. C is not a problem. Yes, no, something.
No problem, sir.
And option D, shouldn't it be 8? pH is minus log of H plus. It's 10 power
Water
minus.
will also contribute.
Yes. You see, if you look at the individual contributions, water gives 10 power minus 7 and H plus HCl is here giving 10 power minus 8. So here the contribution of water will also be taken into account. So pH will be still, less than 7 only. Always remember, if you have an acid in a solution, pH will always be less than 7, no matter how low its concentration is. Okay, so 19 is done. Answer is B and C. 20th. Yes. You do remember that this is going live on YouTube. If we're doing annotation, how will it
Or
work?
between option B and C.
Okay. 1 minute. What is happening? No, this is gone. Okay. 20th. Now you see in 20th, see normally what happens that when you are doing acidic hydrolysis, okay, then this gets protonated. This lone pair gets protonated. So you get an OH plus. Now normally what happens is that this bond H2O will be attacking here, and this goes out. Normally it will happen like this. Let me show it with different color. Okay, because we have got an option. In acidic hydrogen, normally it happens like that. But this time what is happening is that once the carbocation, this protonated ester is formed, okay, then this group can leave this whole molecule faster because it will give a more stable carbocation. In this case, wherever the alcohol part can give a more stable carbocation, the R will leave as R plus. Are you getting my point? Yes or no? Because H2O is a poor nucleophile. Its attack on carbonyl oxygen will be very slow. That is why this reaction is an equilibrium reaction. In that much time, this will leave if it can form a stable carbocation. Are you getting a point? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So once this is done, you'll be getting this and this intermediate, and this intermediate will undergo a faster attack of water. Okay, and you'll be getting this alcohol as the product. And this alcohol is a highly stable, since this is a 3-degree alcohol and it will form highly stable carbocation, it will give immediate turbidity with the Lucas reagent. Okay. Are you getting my point?
Sir, if we don't have any scope of getting a carbocation, stable carbocation,
So the normal hydrolysis will take place. H2 will attack here and this will, and then this will go out. In that case also you will be getting alcohol only. This alcohol only. Okay.
okay, sir.
But here this bond is breaking faster because this can give a stable carbocation. It will not wait that H2 will attack here and then this thing will go out and then I will leave. It won't happen like that. Okay. Are you getting my point? So options are A, free carbocation is involved in the reaction as an intermediate is correct. Alkyl oxygen bond is cleaved. Means this bond is cleaved. That is correct. Okay, the acyl oxygen bond is not cleaved. This is the acyl oxygen bond. This is not cleaved. And alcohol formed in this reaction will give immediate turbidity with Lucas reagent. That is also correct. Now see how we know that this bond is getting cleaved. That if you put O18 here, okay, then this O18 remains with the acid instead of alcohol. Are you getting a point? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so after 20th, 21, 22, 23, 21 and 22. Any doubts?
21.
Which option? See, all these reactions are oxidation, redox reaction. So you see, H2O2 is can act as a reducing as well as oxidizing agent, but Fe3 plus can only act as an oxidizing agent. So with Fe3 plus, H2O2 will be acting as a reducing agent. If H2O2 is acting as a reducing agent, if H2O2 is acting as a reducing agent, it will be oxidized to O2. If it is acting as an oxidizing agent, it will be reduced to H2O. This is -1, this is -2, this is 0. Are you getting a point? So Fe3 plus is an oxidizing agent, so it will H2O2 here will behave like a reducing agent, so you're getting O2 here. And this is Fe2 plus. Okay. When it is reacting with Fe2 plus, then Fe2 plus is the reducing agent, so H2O2 will be acting as an oxidizing agent in this case. So you are getting H2O and Fe plus 3. KMnO4 strong oxidizing agent, H2O2 will be acting as a, what it says, reducing agent only. But you see this, so it is getting converted to O2 here also and O2 here also. The only difference between these two reactions is one is occurring in alkaline medium, another is occurring in acidic medium. Okay, weakly alkaline in case of C. Are you getting the point? That is why you are getting two different products. But that changes in Mn, not in H2O2 part. H2O2 is giving consistent oxygen as a product. Are you getting a point? Yes or no?
Yes, sir. Sir, other products other than O2 and H2O, we should just remember.
What O2 and H2? See, H2 is always there in the
Except O.
See, what are the products which you
No,
need?
sir, the other products. Like MnSO4, K2SO4 and all. We just remember it.
No, you don't have to remember it. No, I have told you how to predict the products. No? See, basically what we do is we strip the cations and anions. We write MnO4 minus. Okay, in acidic medium, it goes to Mn2 plus. In weakly alkaline medium, it goes to MnO2. So these are the two products. Now, obviously, if you are writing it in a neutral format, you have to add anions to the cation part. So the anions will be coming from H2SO4 only. So you will be getting MnSO4. Okay. And since K plus is also there, this SO4 has to be combined with K plus to give K2SO4. Are you getting a point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is the thing. These products do not hold any much. This is an important point. Okay. So 21 is done. 22 and 23. And 23.
23 option C, sir.
23 option C. 23 option C is difficult to tell without the values. Are you getting my point? You cannot say it without the values. A, B, and C you can predict because you see heat of hydrogenation is not given generally here. Okay, so if they are not given heat of hydrogenation for single double bond, single pi bond, then you cannot calculate it for 3 pi bonds and then because even if the resonance energy is given, the theoretical heat of hydrogenation calculation requires you to know the heat of hydrogenation of 1 pi bond. So without that you cannot do it. Are you getting a point? They should have given data here. Okay. Other options A, B, and D?
Sir, have option A.
You see, here you are having heat of hydrogenation is directly proportional to number of pi bonds.
Okay, sir, understood.
So A and D are obvious. Okay. And B, and then if you have same number of pi bonds, heat of hydrogenation is inversely proportional to stability. But that is for same number of pi bonds. Okay.
Sir, so C cannot be the answer, no?
Now C actually is correct if you take the values, but the values are not given in this question. Are you getting a point?
Yes.
We have done the calculation in the thermochemistry, so that is how we know. Okay, but in a new exam type situation, they should give the value. We are not supposed to know the values actually. Okay. 22 is not a doubt. It is considerably easy, right? 24. Only 24. I don't know. So in 24, the plus minus, you can write it like this. The calcium is plus what? It will take the minus part of water. Phosphorus is the minus part, will take the plus part of water. You get pH3, you get NH3, you get H2. Okay. In case of Al2S3, you'll get H2S. Okay. Out of these gases, H2S is the only acidic gas. So this cannot be the answer. Are you clear with this? 24? Okay. 22, you can do the calculation something like this. PCl5. Molecular weight is inversely proportional to number of moles. From that, you can get the value of alpha. H plus is equal to C alpha, you can get it like this. Okay, after 24, 25, 26, 27.
So 25.
Okay. See, in 25, you are having a reaction A giving 2B plus C, and the half-life is given to be 3 minutes. If half-life is given to be 3 minutes, then obviously you can find out the K, it will be ln 2 by 3. Okay. Now you see, it is given that calculate the time in which partial pressure of A will drop to from 2 bar to 0.5 bar at 400 Kelvin. You see here the temperatures are changing. So the rate constant K will change. Okay. So let us say that at K1 is at rate constant of A at 300 and 400 it is K2. So let us say that at 400 Kelvin, the half-life of A is X. Then I can write K2 by K1 is equal to 3 by X. Yes or no? Are you getting this?
Yes, sir.
Now, you see, if you are using our Arrhenius equation, ln K2 by K1, rate constant at two different temperatures can be minus EA by R into 1 by T2 minus 1 by T1. So if you put the value of K2 by K1 here, you can actually find the value of X. It will come out to be 3 by 2 minutes. And once it is there, you can use N is equal to N naught by 2 to the power N. So you see, initially the pressure of partial pressure of A is 2 and finally it is 0.5. So N P is directly proportional to N. So you can write P is equal to P naught to the power 2 to the power N, where N is the number of half-lives. So P is like 0.5 to 2 by 2 to the power N. From this you can get the value of N to be 2 minutes. So if the value of N is 2 means you are talking about 2 half-lives, 2 into T half, which is 2x, which is 3. Are you getting a point? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Sir.
yes.
How are we just supposed to 10 per 0?
One minute. Yeah, now you can say.
In the actual exam, how are we just supposed to know 10 per 0.3?
What are you saying? I don't get.
She's
I have
asking
given,
how do we find the value of 10
yeah,
per 0?
yeah, that I got what she said. Why are you saying this? I don't get it. I have given you 4 values. Log 2 is equal to 0.3. Log 3 is equal to 0.48. Log 4, sorry, log 5, which was 0.7. Log 7, 0.845. So if you take this and then it is to the base 10, so you can always write down 10 to the power 0.3 is equal to 2. So you have to use this thing, no? Everyone knows log 2 is equal to 0.3. So 10 to the power 0.3 is 2.
Okay, sir.
Okay. In exam they will give it, but you know, I have taught you people that much that you can take these decisions on your own. Okay. After 25, 26 is simple. Here against constant external pressure means it's an irreversible process. So W irreversible is minus of P external into delta V. Here P external will be 2 bars because the process will stop at that point of time. (26) is clear? (27) (27) and 28. Any doubts? You see, in 27, it is giving that you have 2 identical holes, and you know, from one nitrogen is leaking, and from other some gas X is leaking. Okay, and both are going to the same vessel. So you see, one hole is like this, another hole is like this. From here N2 is coming, from here X is coming. Okay. And they will be building up some pressure here. Now the resulting pressure is 2.8 atm. It will be pressure of N2 plus pressure of X. Okay. And the volume is given to be 4 liters. So it is saying that the resulting pressure will have 2.8 atm and the mixture will contain 0.4 moles of nitrogen. So it will also contain some moles of X. Then only it will be giving some pressure. So they are asking the molar mass. So you will be using the Graham's law of diffusion. The rate of diffusion or effusion is inversely proportional to the molar mass. We are assuming that both N2 and X are diffusing under identical pressure and temperature conditions. Are you getting my point? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So rate of diffusion is inversely proportional to the molar mass. So rate of diffusion here we can write as moles diffused by time taken. So TT will cancel out. We know that mole of N2 which has been diffused is 0.4 moles. So we have to just find the moles of diffused of X. So 0.4 by moles diffused of X is equal to molecular weight of X by 28 and whole square root. So now if you know the moles of X which are diffused, then we can find the molar mass of X. So you see the final number of moles you can calculate as PV by RT. So that will be like 0.5 moles. And you know that 0.4 moles is nitrogen. So 0.1 moles will be X. Now you can find out the molar mass. Are you getting my point? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if that is clear, then question number 28, is it a doubt? You see, you can assume that this whole group is R and this group is R dash. Because you see, the stereochemistry won't change in Beckmann's rearrangement. Okay, so you see, first you are getting an oxime here. So you can get an oxime in which OH is anti to R dash, and another oxime in which OH is anti to R. So you'll be getting, if you are treating it with H plus, this OH2 plus will get protonated, OH will get protonated, and then if it is leaving, then it will be accompanied by migration of the anti group. So in this case it is R dash, in this case it is R. So you'll be getting a positive charge here in here, and then H2 attacks, and you'll be getting these products. So once you get this, you can write the R and R dash to get the answer. Everyone is clear with this? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
The stereochemistry won't change because during the migration, okay, it will remain the same. Okay. So stereochemistry of migratory group. Remains the same. During Beckmann's arrangement. Okay, so 27 is done, 28 is also done, 29. See, they are asking how many compounds will give faster aromatic, nucleophilic aromatic substitution than this NO2-Br. So faster means that either it could have more number of electron withdrawing groups, instead of one NO2, you have two NO2s or three NO2s, or three, some more, any other also electron withdrawing group will do, like CN or CHO. And second thing is faster aromatic substitution means more electronegative leaving group. Okay, so you see, if the leaving group is more electronegative, then the attack at if the leaving group carbon will be faster. Why? Because you see, Br will be creating a delta plus charge here. So instead of Br, if you're using fluorine, then the delta plus will increase, and your nucleophile will increase the attack here faster. Are you getting my point? Yes or no? So you see, based on this, you can do the questions. The answers will be option 1, 2, okay, 3, 6, and 7, 8. Are you getting a point? Yes or no?
So steric factors will not matter in case of 6.
No. Steric factor won't matter in this case.
Okay. Sir.
Chlorine is not that strong. See, even if, first of all, chlorine is not that big a molecule which will cause steric, like inhibition of resonance for this NO2 and this NO2. Second, if it was iodine, then there can be a rotation of the NO2 groups. Are you getting a point? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
But still, there will be more electron withdrawal. NO2 will always be giving -m. Even if they rotate outside the plane, they will give -I still. So compared to the original molecule, it will be still more reactive. Are you getting a point? Both factors are important.
Okay. Sir.
So some electron withdrawal is better than no electron withdrawing group at all. Okay. So 38 is clear, 29 is clear to all of you people.
Sir, even if we have iodine, even then 6 will be the option.
Yeah, because more number of electron withdrawing groups now. Here only one NO2 is there. Here there are like 3 groups. So more electron withdrawing groups means faster rate of NAS. Getting my point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Question number 30, 31, 32. See, R minus will take acidic hydrogen. Okay. Means hydrogen which is attached to oxygen, sulfur, nitrogen, or sp carbon. Okay. Or R minus will be attacking a carbonyl group. Okay. So, or R minus and it will be forming an alcohol. Or R minus will be attacking a carboxylic acid derivative. In this case, first it will give carbonyl and then it will give alcohol. So you see here it will consume 2 moles, here it will consume 1 mole, here it will consume 1 mole. Now in case of anhydride, you see the reaction will be taking place something like this. Yeah, push it. Suppose I am having an anhydride group. Okay. And R minus is there. It attacks here. Okay. Then this will go out. So you will be getting now you see this whole anion is negatively charged. So on this R minus won't attack. Are you getting my point? It will be attacking on this carbon only again. Are you getting a point? So it will also consume 2 moles of R. Yes, no, clear? Everyone? Kirti, is it clear? Sleeping in the class again, Kirti.
Yes, sir. It's clear.
Ah.
Sir,
Okay. Yes.
Harper, if it becomes C double bond to OH, will R minus attack over there?
Where?
In the like CH3 C double bond to OH.
Here, this one.
Huh.
See, here the attack won't take place because it is a negatively charged ion. It will
But
repel the R minus.
per H will come, it'll become an acid, will R minus attack there.
See, the moment you add acid, no, there is no Grignard reagent in the system.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. OH is, H plus is added only after all the reactions are done. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. 31.
Sir,
Yes.
in 30th, the hydrogen attached to the carbon which is beside the double bond O, won't that also be acidic?
See, R minus. Suppose I am saying CH3 minus. And here also if there is a minus. Both are, basically negative charge on carbon only. So they are acidic, but it's not like they have a tendency to get back the H plus. Are you getting my point?
But then that minus can be delocalized to the double bond O, no?
It can be delocalized, but you see, it can be delocalized only. The atom itself is not stable.
Okay.
So just remember this point that R minus will only take sp hydrogens, because in that case the sp carbon is capable of handling the negative charge himself. It does not need what you call as support of others. I have told you people that the atomic factors are the most important factor in stabilizing the negative charge. If the atom is capable, in itself, all other effects are secondary. Okay, it's like, if you are capable of qualifying this exam, then, if you are good enough, then other factors are, just secondary. You are the primary factor. Okay. So, similarly, the atomic factors are the most important factors. If the atom is electronegative, then it can handle the negative charge himself. It does not need help of any other stuff. So you see, negative charge will always be more stable on oxygen, then on nitrogen, and then on carbon. Okay. Everyone is getting this?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So after this, 31. In 31, they are asking the number of electrons having mod of m less than 1, L is equal to 2, and ms is equal to minus half in palladium. Now, palladium is having configuration of krypton and 4d10. Okay. Normally, in case of nickel, palladium, and platinum, nickel is having like 3d8 and 4s2. So palladium is having straight away 4d10. There is no s electron in case of palladium. That is an exceptional configuration, which is something which you have to know. Now you see, in case of z orbitals, d orbitals, you have like 5 values of magnetic quantum numbers, but they are only asking for the 3 of the orbitals, 0 plus m and minus 1. Okay, and it is saying L is equal to 2 means it is d orbital only. So you are having 3 d substrate in which you are taking only 3 of the orbitals. So you see, in palladium you will have 4d as well as 5d substrates which are filled with electrons. We are taking only 3 of this and 3 of this, and we are taking only 1 electron from each of the orbitals. So this is 3 into 1 plus 3 into 1, total will be 6. Are you getting the point? Yes or no? Anusha, are you getting this? Yes, no. Who is HP? Haripriya. We don't know. Rishita, clear this point? Anyways, 32. 32 is a simple question. We have discussed this in the class also. Exactly same question. Okay, you have to see you have to write this equation Fe2O3 plus CO giving Fe plus 3CO2, and this CO is coming from carbon only. So first we calculate the moles of CO, which will be equal to moles of carbon, which is 6. And then you see how much Fe2O3 Fe will be getting from 6 kilomoles of carbon monoxide. 32 is clear? 31, 32, everyone? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 33 and 34. So first 33. Is basically coal-based electrolysis. So basically RCO minus on oxidation will give RCO dot, and this will give R dot plus CO2, and finally there will be coupling and you will be getting RR. And at cathode, H plus electron will be giving H2. Okay? So if you are taking sodium acetate, then R will be CH3, you will be getting C2H6. So 4 will be one of the product. Okay, 1 will definitely be one of the products in all cases. So 1 is present in all the options. And 2 is also present in all the options except the last one, because it's not a carboxylic acid. So, and for P, you are having options 1, 2, and 4. For Q, sodium formate. Now see, if you are having sodium formate, then R is H. So basically first you will be getting HCO dot, and then you give H dot plus CO2. And this H dot will combine with other H dot to give H2. So in this case only 1 and 2 are the products. In case of R, you are having concentrated NaCl aqueous. Then the products will be Cl2 and H2. So the answers will be 1, 3 for R. And for dilute HCl, the products will be H2 and O2. Are you getting a point? Yes or no? For dilute solution of any electrolyte, the electrolysis will give the same product as the electrolysis of water. Are you getting a point? Yes or no? You remember these things in electrolysis? We have already discussed. People say something.
Yes, sir.
Okay. One of you people should take the responsibility of saying yes all the time. Normally in the classes, the class will be so much active. Okay, 34. Tell me. 34,
So is
option P is a Borodin-Hanslicker reaction. Yes, tell me.
34 में explain S, no?
Yes. Okay. So you see, this is basically, let me write the product. It is basically CH3C, triple bond C, CH3. If you are treating it with NaNH2, it would undergo isomerization. Okay, it will change to terminal alkyne. You remember? This point I have given in the class. You know how it is going to happen? It will take one of the hydrogens from here, and then you will be getting CH3, C, triple bond C, CH2 minus. This will go like this. Okay, so you'll be getting CH3, C minus, you'll get an early intermediate. And then this will take an H plus from NH3. And then again an H2 minus will take this hydrogen. This will go here and this will go here. So you'll be getting CH3, CH again minus C triple bond CH, and then it will take an H3 from the H plus from NH3. Are you getting this, everyone? So in case of S, organic or ionic organometallic product is formed. That is incorrect. Okay. In case of S, the answer, okay, ionic organometallic product is formed. That will be correct actually. You see, since you are having NaNH2 in excess, okay, this hydrogen will be taken out. Are you getting my point? So you'll be actually getting something like this. CH3, CH2, C triple bond, C minus. Okay, and Na plus. So you can say it is an organometallic compound because carbon is carrying a negative charge. Okay, and the number of carbon in parent chain of the product is 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, given answer is 1, 3, but 3 cannot be possible because there is no free radical intermediate in this. So there is a key change here. Are you getting my point? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, any other doubts? P, Q, and R. I have written all the things here. You see, if you are having alcoholic QH, then it will convert terminal alkyne into internal alkyne. Are you getting a point? This is the product. Okay. And of reaction Q is Wittig reaction. You'll be first getting, triphenyl. This what it says, Br will be replaced by P53 because it is a lone pair, and then NaNH2 will be taking this hydrogen, and you'll be getting this type of phosphorus Y-lead, and this phosphorus Y-lead will react with the carbonate group to give this. Everyone is clear with this question? P53 and O will combine to give minus of P53O, and this part and this part will combine to form a double bond. This is the Wittig reaction. Everyone is clear? Yes or no? And first one is the Borodin-Hunsdiker reaction, which you people are knowing. RCO minus will attack Br, you will be getting RCO Br. And then it will use the radical mechanism, you will get these radicals are product. RCO dot will give R dot plus CO2, and R dot and Br dot will combine to be RBr. Okay, if instead of Br2, if you are using I2, then it becomes the product which is formed is RC double bond O R dash. Okay, ester is formed, and that is a Birnbaum-Simonini reaction. Are you getting my point? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so answer will be 3, 4. Okay, after this, 35 and 36. Any doubts? (35) they are just asking for the, spin and number of unpaired electrons. So COF6 is having a D6 configuration because CO3 plus is there, and weak field ligand means unpaired electrons are there. So the answer is it is an outer orbital complex and it is paramagnetic. Cr plus 3 in the second case. Now Cr plus 3 is a D3 configuration. For D3 configuration, always two unpaired electrons will be, two vacant orbitals will be there in the inner d orbitals, 3d orbitals. So it will always form a low spin complex only. And since there are three unpaired electrons, so it will be paramagnetic. So in this case, the answer will be option 3. AuCl4 minus, Au will be plus 3. Copper, Ag and Au all belong to the same group. So if you're saying copper 2 plus is 3d9, then Au3 plus will, Cu2 plus is 3d9, then Au3 plus will be a D8 configuration. Okay. So D8 configuration of Au3 plus, and it will be DsP2. Okay. Because all the 4 coordination number complexes with D8 configuration for 4D and 5D elements will be square planar only. So it will be forming an inner d orbital complex only. So inner d orbital complex, and it will be low spin complex. All will be, electrons will be paired. So answer will be option 1. And in last case, FeCN6 3 minus, you see Fe plus 3 is D5 configuration and Cn minus is a strong field ligand. So you will get a low spin complex only. Are you getting a point? Yes or no? And since there are 5 electrons in D, it has to be paramagnetic. So the answer will be option 4, paramagnetic and low spin. Everyone is clear in 35?
Sir, in case of R, chlorine is a weak field ligand, no?
For 4D and 5D series metals, the value of delta naught is very high. So
Okay, sir, I understand.
jumping will never take place. So always pairing takes place. Okay, so there is no concept of strong or weak field ligand for 4D and 5D series. Are you getting a point?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that is like this. 36. See, a ligand is a ligand for 4D and 5D series. It's not no SFR or WFL in these cases. 36. They are given different ligands and then they are asking you to match with the properties. So if I am talking about P, you see NiH2O6 2+. Ni2 plus will be having a D8 configuration and there are 6 ligands, so it will be, now you see Ni2 plus will be a D8 configuration. So in an octahedral configuration, it will always be something like this. So never inner d orbitals are there. So 1 cannot be the answer. It cannot show ionization isomerism because it does not have any anionic ligand. For ionization isomerism to exist, the ligand, you should have different anionic ligands which can be exchanged with the outer anions. So since inner ligands is only H2O, it cannot show ionization isomerism. Mu is equal to 2.83 bm. And you see, 2 unpaired electrons means root 8, under root of 2 into 4 and into n plus 2. So this will show, option 3 is correct. Option 4, delta naught is less than pairing. So in this case, you see, water is a weak field ligand, so delta naught value will be less. So pairing will be more in this case. So that is why jumping will be preferred over pairing in this case. And fifth, it is sp3d2 hybridization, that is correct. Getting a point? Yes, no? P, all the points are clear?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Any doubt? Now is the chance to ask. Okay, if it is not there, in case of Q, you have two ligands and both are strong field ligands. Okay, so it and the total number of ligands is 6, so it will be D2sp3 hybridization. Okay, it is having an anionic ligand inside the coordination sphere, so it can be exchanged with the outer negative ion. So it will show ionization isomerism. So 1 and 2 are correct. Third option, mu is equal to 2.8. CO plus 3 means a D6 configuration, and it will be all electrons will be paired in presence of strong field ligand. So mu will be 0 in this case. Now, in this case, delta naught will be greater than P because strong field ligands are there, so delta naught will be high. It will be more than the pairing energy. And fifth, which is sp3d2, cannot be correct because the first one is correct, D2sp3. Okay? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then R IRCl6 3 minus. Iridium belongs to Corahir. Okay. So it is this is 3D series, this is 4D series, this is 5D series metal. So this will be, for this always remember that delta naught will always be greater than pairing energy. So always pairing will take place, it will always form what? It will always form like, low spin complexes wherever it is having the option. Now you see here iridium will be +3, so it will be having a D6 configuration. So you have a D6 configuration and it has to form, all the ligands will be causing pairing of the electrons in this case because delta naught is very high. Okay, so in this case 6 electrons will be paired here, so it will form a D2sp3 hybridization here. Are you getting a point? Yes or no? Other options are not applicable because mu will be 0, delta naught is greater than P, and since one is correct, which is not correct. It cannot show ionization isomerism because there is no anion outside the coordination sphere. Are it clear?
Yes, sir.
Option S, PtCl2 NH3 whole 4 Br2. So you see in this case, this is Pt plus 4 oxidation state here. Okay, and Pt plus 4. Okay, so this means it will be D6 configuration. You see Ni2 plus is D8. So if Ni and Pt belong to the same group, so Pt plus 2 will be a D8 configuration. So Pt plus 4 will be a D6 configuration. And D6 configuration plus here NH3 will be acting. In fact, for Pt, all ligands are strong field ligands only because delta naught is greater than P. So it will cause what you call as pairing of electrons. So the hybridization will be D2sp3. Okay, and so one is correct, and it can show ionization isomerism because you have an anionic ligand inside the coordination sphere and you have anions outside the sphere also. Mu will be 0, delta naught will be greater than P, if cannot be correct. So it will be 1 and 2 only for the S. Are you getting this point? Yes or no? People?
Yes.
Okay, so I believe this is the last question of the whole thing. Any other question which you want me to discuss? Okay, So you see, this is 36. Okay. And then this is 35.
Sir, in Borodin-Hunziker reaction, won't we get a carb anion intermediate?
No. You get a radical intermediate in that case. I have given you the corrections in the mechanism in the notes. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So, and then this question. Just go through the stuff which we have discussed now. If you feel any doubt in any of the points which we have discussed till now, you can go through it. Is this whole paper clear to you people? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, then we can, like finish this paper discussion. Okay, so I'm going to stop the